in my 20s and being like, I need a job because like I want like an apartment and like I want like pizza or whatever. And then it went from being like it seemed like a very quick transition from that to being like, I need a job because like I have kids who also need food.
And I don't understand.
I'm saying like if I'm unemployed,
Yep.
like it doesn't just affect me anymore.
Right. Well, you don't have the burden of taking care of the kids financially. That's only me, the man.
On you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You work because it's fun for you. That's what women do. They're like, I want to do marketing. That one's for the fellas. All right, want to hear a hot take?
Oh, no.
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought that up.
I'm recording if y'all want to start.
Yeah, start with that. And Noah, what did you accomplish with your job so far today?
I did a lot. I had 2 phone calls. I had 2 phone calls from the golf course. So I was like, shh, what? Sorry. Hello.
I feel like the most, like you can tell that your business is like so old timey because you have like actual like phone calls with people, like not meetings, like just phone calls.
Well, you know what's a great thing my boss did, and we are starting now, by the way.
Remember answering machines?
Yeah, of course I do. The thing my boss did was, you know how everybody went on camera for no reason? Every call became an on camera
Well, they were meetings.
because of Teams.
They were meetings.
But there used to be something called a group phone call, okay?
What's a group phone call? A conference call?
A conference call, yes.
Okay, but it's a conference call is different than a group phone call.
A phone orgy. A
Yeah,
talking
like what are
orgy.
you talking about?
Want
It had a name.
to get talked over. That's it. I love. So then everybody.
Yeah, and my favorite part about a conference call.
Yeah.
Like I remember this. I remember like my dad being on a conference call. It was like probably like take your daughter to work day. And I'm just like sitting there in his chair, like, you know, eating the Mounds bars that he used to keep in his desk.
Yeah.
And in order to participate in like the original conference call, you'd have to go, yes, this is Rick. You'd have to say your name every time. You'd have to be like,
yeah, we do that.
because there was like 17 people on the call.
It's like beep, Rick.
Yeah, that's true.
Rick
Rick has joined the call.
My sister actually brought this up to me years ago, and then I saw an article in some magazine. I don't know if it was
You're always
The
reading those articles,
Economist
right?
or
Financial Times,
Penthouse, or
Yeah.
it's me reading Penthouse in 2024. I don't know what it was, but it was that meetings feel like work, but really aren't work, and it does. You don't accomplish anything, and it actually takes you so far away from actual work. And what I found is everybody just has meetings. It's like you don't need none of this needs to be met about. Like you do your job, I'll do my job, and then we'll go ahead and email. No problem.
Here's the thing. Because I spent a lot of time working in and on creative teams, like as a copywriter or whatever, having a meeting in that scenario actually was like quite important because you were talking through not only like brainstorming maybe not the idea itself, but the idea of like what it could be. So like going over like brand guidelines or whoever the client was, right? Mm-hmm. And it was actually quite important for like every single person, every department to know like what the deal was, because it would affect like budget, it would affect like execution. Like, is it a video?
Did you ever say, if you can't tell the difference between the idea and the execution of the idea, I can't help you?
No.
Like Peggy?
I mean, probably.
Were you more Peggy or Don when you worked at the agency?
I don't know. I was like probably like whatever, like the dumbest. Like I had never had any idea what was going on. Like everyone knew.
You were Ginsburg?
I was more Ginsburg than
You're
anything
like,
else.
I pity you. And then someone's like, I don't think about you at all.
It literally.
Most badass line of all time, right?
Kind of. And I do think like a meeting in that scenario did make sense because otherwise you were either going to have to send all this information to people and trust that they were going to read it themselves, which they obviously were not. Mm-hmm. Or you had to do this like presentation separately for all these different departments, which also didn't make sense. So like in that world, in that type of collaboration type of project, like I'm like a meeting makes sense. Does it make sense to have like a meeting to like go over a spreadsheet of like sales numbers? No, I don't think it does.
Well, we do them quite often in my day, Jay.
I know you do.
They're like, you have 10. We wish you had 50. That's like the same. Like 90% of that's like, oh, we're like, yeah, we're trying to get 50. Like,
Something that comes up a lot in my current day job is like, we'll go over like a dashboard or like a report or something, and they'll be like, yeah, that was 9. And someone will be like, I'm pretty sure it was 11. And then they have to shut down everything to determine if it was 9 or 11 because it really could impact all the other numbers. But I'm like, I cannot actually help with any of that. And so then I'm just sitting there like a real doofus because I'm like, you can't leave the call. Like once you're on the call, you can't leave the call. But like, I can't help with that.
Well, my boss has told us we don't have to be on camera anymore, which he's the best boss of all time. He's like, I don't like there's no reason for me to stare at you staring at me while I tell you, whatever. Staring at you,
staring at me. It's like a sales call love song.
And more of your singing in the pod.
How dare you?
I seriously do. You're a talented singer. You're a beautiful woman.
I sing a lot to the kids. I sing a lot to the kids. We make up a lot of songs.
Yeah. I learned that from you. I'm like, put your head in the shirt.
I mean, I really was losing my patience with the big one this morning. Because we're trying to get the baby to nap.
Yeah.
And here comes Henry with 2 different plastic phones. And he's just just doing a massive, what's the drum that's like big, like around this way?
Boom, boom, boom.
No. That's
the
like
timbaron?
in the marching band. Yeah, where you're going side to side.
Bop, 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 bop. What's that called? Dylan, look it up.
Is it a bass drum?
I don't know.
I think it's
A timpani?
bass drum.
Timpani's the big one. Yeah.
Right? Anyway, he's like, Henry has an arm on both sides of the bathroom wall, like right next to where the baby is trying to nap, and going, and you're like, oh my God, like please don't be so loud. And he's like, what? Louder? And you're like, okay, what? And then you hear the baby screaming, and you're like, it's literally 9:13 in the morning. Like, can we just?
So if he becomes Phil Collins or some great drummer, then we go, okay, he used to drum nonstop. He's driving the neighbors crazy. He's driving us crazy. Like, I used to be like, look at him. He's so talented. He's 3 and he's going, and now I'm just like, buddy, like it's in my brain stem, like chill. But most likely he won't even drum in the high school band. It's just something to do. But if he becomes some sort of amazing drummer, I'll be like, aha, I knew it. I encouraged it.
I mean, he definitely likes to drum more than the average toddler. But I'm like, a lot of kids go through like obsessive stages at this age. Like, it's just like not uncommon. Like, Riley, our niece, like was so into dinosaurs. Like, she could tell you every single thing about dinosaurs. And it's not like she's going to be a paleontologist. She might be. I just like, it's a big, I don't know. It's like a lot of time to stay obsessed with dinosaurs,
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about this, by the way. It's Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
And I saw this headline that I really liked.
Do you seriously hate when people abbreviate it LDW? No, LDW.
The fuck is that?
I've noticed this. Have you noticed this? People are like,
LDW?
I've never seen
okay,
that.
so now that I've pointed it out to both of you, you're going to see it. It's like, any plans for LDW? I'm like, yeah, now I have to kill myself because you typed it out like that.
I'm like, I got to ship something? DHL?
I'm like, LD. Literally, my brain was like, LDW. Like, what? Does not compute. Ask app not to track.
I do hate when somebody's birthday and they go HBD.
Ugh, it's the same thing.
Couldn't even text the whole thing. Google would do it for you.
Well, I had a boss once upon a time who was quite mean to me, and one thing that they would always do was write THX.
Ugh.
THX.
Yep.
Why?
Thanks.
I'm like,
It's a couple more letters.
it's not even that much.
Yeah.
Also, like, you don't even mean it. You're not saying thanks. You're mean to me.
It's very annoying. So my question is, as we look toward the headline I saw was that Overtourism is making places a living hell.
Overtourism?
Yeah. So like Capri or Capri, if you want to be an a-hole.
This reminds me of when I had to look up how to pronounce Maldives when we were watching Bravo.
Yeah.
And then Google was like, Maldives.
Yeah. What is the place that you wanted to go because you're basic as F in Greece? Santorini?
I just want to go to Greece in general, not just Santorini.
Yeah, but you wanted to take an Instagram pic in Santorini and go,
I don't practice
Blessed.
Santorini.
I'm blessed.
I'm like, like,
Look at us.
I'm like, toga.
Anyway, places like
But
that.
in
because
that fantasy, I'm also like half my size. I'm
Listen,
very thin.
I don't.
People are worried. People are like, we don't remember Alyssa looking like that.
Well, We didn't go to Greece because of COVID, and I don't.
We didn't go to Greece because we are losers.
Yeah.
Oh, I also want to go to that island where like donkeys will just like run into your butt
Okay, is that Naxos?
in Greece. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What does that mean? What do you mean run into your butt?
There's some sort of Greek island where you like can't take like a car or a bike or anything, and it's like just a bunch of donkeys
But
like
that's related to this headline because what happened was
like ramming into you.
they'll go. Santorini gets overcrowded because you have 10 million people on the cliff, and it's not fun anymore. So then they go like, get these people out of here. So they start just bringing people to this like donkey island.
They're just like Chris Christieing them. They're like, get the hell off the beach.
They are, but they're literally putting them in boats and bringing them to random islands. And they're like, well, there's nothing to do here. So they build a hotel and then whatever. I don't know what my point was, but nobody does.
Also,
nobody does.
Well, it's just funny to think of like a trendy vacation destination as being like a living hell, except that it does remind me of when
but the pictures are like Times Square on the Great Wall of
no,
China.
I know,
It's like,
I know
sucks.
that. No, I agree, and it's like we've seen this time and time again with any popular vacation spot where like people are like, this is my secret little getaway, and then like wait or it gets overdeveloped, whatever, and then you go, okay, well actually it's like not that sweet anymore, and it's like. However, the local economy like depends on the tourism, and so it becomes this sort of like, uncomfortable cycle of like both wealth and overpopularity, and then people depending on the jobs, and then people stop going, and then people lose the jobs, and there's like vacant, apartment buildings, and it's just like a bummer.
Yeah. So
The
do you
world
have your?
sucks.
Can you go ahead and hit it?
Hit what?
Just wait a second. New segment alert. It's Hot Take Corner with your host Noah Savage.
With your host
Alyssa Wolff.
Guy Fieri.
All right, cut it. Cut the track.
What is this?
This is Hot Take Corner. Do you have one ready?
No, I haven't even been briefed. This is why we need meetings.
Here's my Hot Take Corner. I know, it's an ambush segment.
Okay.
I planned it with Dylan.
I always have a lot of hot takes. Yeah, you guys are like teaming up against me now. It's great.
So my hot take related to this is that there needs to be more like mid places to go on vacation.
So mid?
There's like dog shit, and then there's like really nice, but a lot of times the really nice is a ripoff. I just want fine.
Well, okay,
Do you know what I mean?
but my definition of fine has also changed.
Yeah, you're a snob. I'll go anywhere.
No, like it depends. Like, am I bringing the children?
I wasn't that hot of a take. I should have had a better one, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
I just created a segment for us. Do you have any hot takes?
Here's a hot take:
Yeah.
the hot and sweet jalapenos at Trader Joe's.
Banging.
Those are good because you don't know what you're gonna get. It could be hot.
It
Or it could be sweet.
Oh boy.
I'm a freak show who eats turkey chili in the middle of August,
Delicious.
and I need some of those hot and sweet peppers. Okay, so I went to Trader Joe's this morning,
Okay.
and I walk up, and they have every single shopping cart like out on the avenue, and they're like power washing all of them, and I'm like, did my mom make you do this? What is happening? Why are we washing the shopping carts? Like, I understand just like doing like a little wipe down, whatever, but I'm like, they are like full on, like covered in gear, like power washing all of them. And then I walk up there and I'm like, well, can I get a cart? And they're like, being washed. And I'm like, what are they being detailed? Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, we're just
Yeah.
going to put, also, how long am I holding onto this cart? I'm putting my stuff in for about 10 to 15 minutes, and I'm taking it right out.
I respect it. As a germaphobe, I
thought
people
you'd
are
like that too.
really gross, and I think power washing carts.
You like this.
I'm very for that. I appreciate it.
100%. I'm surprised I don't do it every night.
And there's like so much like rotten food that
Ew.
goes through grocery stores. You don't
Yeah.
know what kind of bacteria is getting on that cart, and then getting on your produce or your meat
Yeah.
packages.
And also, the people power washing those carts, you're looking at the happiest people in the vicinity. That's a get in flow, high satisfaction job.
It didn't seem
You know
like
what
you
I
were
mean?
really able to get in flow
doubt.
because it was
Power
kind of
washing is a top
chaotic.
job in the world right
no
now.
doubt.
Well, I
Pays
want to.
so well.
Yeah, it pays.
It pays
and it's
well,
like-
but I want to watch, like, I don't want to watch someone power wash a cart. I want to watch them power wash a rug.
or like a grimy wall that's all mildewy. And it's,
Yeah,
it's white when it's done.
Ugh,
Oh,
that feels
fantastic.
good. That feels good.
Neither of you probably killed a moldy wall the way I have.
Killed a moldy wall?
Yes.
Why don't you do that in my bathroom?
You've done it?
I've gotten after it.
As a painter in my previous life, I would, you got to clean the wall off
Sure.
before you prime it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's nice.
You know what else I was thinking about this morning?
What?
So I went to Trader Joe's. It was the best time to go because the Friday before holiday weekend, no one's here. You get all the best stuff. There was no one in line. My favorite guy was working. He's like the mayor of Trader Joe's. He's like this tall, attractive man. And you're like, why do you work here? You seem to have like a lot of swag.
Why does anybody work there, and why are they also happy?
No, I think he's legitimately like an actor or a singer or something,
Yeah.
and this is his day job because there's no way. He has so much riz, as the kids would say, and
Oh,
he's
wow.
just like, he's clearly just doing it as like a means to an end. Anyway, I get this nice guy who is the cashier, puts all my stuff in like the perfectly balanced bags. Like sometimes you get someone who really doesn't know what they're doing. He nailed it. And then just as I was leaving, because we're having a little chit chat, he goes, "It's my birthday tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh,
Wait,
happy birthday."
Was he straight? Was he trying to riz you up?
I don't know what he was doing. I think maybe he was like on the spectrum because he just kind of blurted it. It was really random.
Can't wait till I go to Trader Joe's to listen and see this guy, and he's like,
No, that's a different guy.
him.
No, that's a different guy.
Oh, sorry.
Different guy. No, Mr. Swag is just like all over the place. I don't even think he has like a role there. He's just like there to like make people feel good about
He just
themselves.
walks
Like
someone down the aisles.
he's like a coach. Like he's just like, like, oh, he's like, good choice. And you're like, yeah, I really love these fucking cookies. I'm like, oh, is this like a yogurt coating? He's like, it sure is. Good eye. Like he just like makes you feel like you did something right. But anyway, I was walking back towards our place and there were like some pieces of like wood on the ground, and I was like, what is this?
Right.
And it just like come off of like a building facade, like it just like rotted off. And I was like, you know what's insane?
What?
That like we as humans living in a society like build these buildings and then they like get destroyed and we're like, ugh, gotta add to this building or just knock it down entirely. Like what is the point where we look at a place and we go, nope, not fixable, like gotta destroy the entire thing? Like I saw this building on Instagram that was like on the beach. Did you see this video? Where it just gets swept out to sea? And I'm like,
And there's a lady going, "Call 911."
are people in the house?
No.
Right. It's like been condemned, right?
It's like those places in Nantucket that are worth like $2 million, like $5 million. And
like
they're
$27 million.
No, there's one that was sold for $200,000, and they're like, you can buy this, but it like will fall into the ocean.
Yeah, there's a
like,
lot of those.
next year.
Not great.
It's
Not great.
tempting. It's tempting.
There's
I'll put an offer in.
I mean, I think like those places, it's like really a bummer because you're just like watching climate change like destroy the planet and like humans are behind it and they're like, not my beach house. And you're like, Jesus.
Oh wow, you're one of those people.
What?
Okay, climate change person. Okay,
What do you call it?
I just ignore it and act like it's not happening.
Yeah, we know.
Let's
Part of
see.
the problem.
What else did I have?
Always.
Can I tell you about some bad movies I've been watching pointlessly?
Yeah, but you didn't have any reaction to the fact that like we're just building buildings
buildings?
just to like watch them fall apart and being like,
Yeah.
oh no, it's falling apart.
I don't have any. I don't know. I don't have any reaction to that. I think our apartment's close.
That's what I'm saying.
It's almost a tear down. The
When I think about like the guy who owns our apartment and I'm like, what he would even need to do, like I know you always disagree about apartment stuff with me, but I'm like, this place needs to be like gut renoed. Like he would need
Yeah.
to go, like all the floors are like starting to rot. I'm like, the windows never got properly sealed, so there's like all like
the windows are bad, and we have to actually tape our windows with layers and layers and layers of tape to be warm enough to live in there. I agree with that one.
it's a bad one.
The floors are not rotting.
Yes, they are. There's corners that are rotting.
There's some dark spots. There was some murders there. There's some blood that's been caked on. Okay.
The tile that he chose for the bathroom and the kitchen was an absolutely unhinged. Like they must have been giving the tile away for free because there's
Yeah,
no
from
possible way.
A Holiday Inn pool. It's literally.
Literally.
Like, it's like pool deck. Like, oh, get ready on here. But you don't really have any reaction to the building thing.
Like, I just think it's crazy that like they put up that scaffolding. You know, you have to do it every 5 years in New York City to like make sure that the facade isn't falling off. But like, I'm like walking home and I'm like, there's just like pieces of wood that have like fallen off the side of a building, and I'm like, well, that can't be good. I'm like, I'm going in there to live.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, our apartment is bizarrely like great and also decrepit at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's the best of both worlds. It's both incredible, but also ruining our lives. Mm-hmm. So what hot take did you want to share?
I really didn't have one. I told Dylan to get the music ready, and then I kind of...
Do you remember, like, there was a point of the pandemic where we, like, exclusively watched Chopped?
Yeah, well... Oh, yeah. So I was actually thinking about that as a bit, maybe, about how when I was driving around playing golf today for 6 hours alone, how, like, we actually lost our minds to the point where we were like, you know, I was like, maybe I'm going to go to medical school.
That actually, you probably should have done that.
Yeah, right. Never see me. And then
I know.
I actually became a whole different person. Like, I grew a mustache.
I like the mustache. Bring it back.
I grew my. I made like 4 big changes, and then I was like, I'm gonna go to medical school, and then shit opened up.
4 big changes. You just named mustache. Yeah, you're like so many personal changes. I mean, I grew a mustache, and then you just moved on to the next thing.
Oh.
You didn't do anything else.
You know what I was saying? I grew a mustache. I started listening to country music.
Okay.
And I started playing golf. And then I was like, maybe I'm a doctor.
We're up to 3.
Things opened up, and I was like, what? I'm not doing any of that. What are you talking about? But yeah, what was the original point?
It was just weird, like what we decided, like what we were like in the habit of watching, like in lockdown. We were like, time to watch Chopped or like Guy Fieri. Like it was just like, why?
Every Chopped ever. We watched every Survivor ever. We watched
so much Survivor.
I went back through like all the classics and did all them. It honestly wasn't like that bad in a way. It felt like one really long snow day where you're just like kind of killing time, kind of whatever. And then,
well, I also think that like for me personally, it was like, I mean, it was frustrating because I couldn't like go to the store or like whatever. But I'm like, even when I did go to the grocery store, it like I wasn't personally very freaked out because you already had it. So I was like, okay.
Well, the other thing was, you never did a Zoom. We did one Zoom show.
I think I did
Comedy
one.
show.
It was horrible.
We did a thing where it was like we did a bit, but it wasn't like doing stand-up. But people were out here doing stand-up to a screen like, yeah, CVS receipts are hard. And then, you know, they're long.
Silence.
And then you see one guy going, I'm like, I don't need this that bad. And then doing shows in the park were brutal.
Yeah, no, the comedy, any type of like live performance thing was terrible.
It's kind of like when comics, and we've been guilty of this before, comics are like, we're going to have a benefit, unfamous comics are going to have a benefit show.
Okay.
Right? So like we're raising money for the Long Island Animal Shelter.
Fine.
And then they have a show, but they're not famous. So they draw the same 20 or 30 people they usually draw.
Right.
And they're like, well, tonight we were able to raise over $27 for the animal fund. You know what I mean? It's like you can't.
You know what's
can't
funny
raise
with those
money with
things
that.
is that I never really know like what is like what's an appropriate amount of money. Do you know what I mean? Like
So,
if they're
raise?
yeah, like if they're like we are so excited, like we raised like $1,100 for the animal shelter. I'm like, that's it?
That's what I mean.
But I'm like, but sometimes they're like, we raised like, you know, $16,000, and you're like, you did? Like how?
Yeah. Well, you know what's a big part of that is the richness of the people donating.
Right.
Because I play in that poker tournament every year that raises money for Lord knows what.
Yeah.
And they're like, we've raised $13 million tonight. I'm like, what?
How?
I'm like, I gave a 200.
Right. Right.
But it's just rich people being like, whatever, take that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Charity's bullshit. That's what I'm saying. There's my hot take. Play the music again. You hear that?
Also, like your hot take was just charity is bullshit.
That's right. That's right. That's a clip. Clip it. All right, can I tell you about some of the movies I've been watching? Unless you have anything else.
Fine.
I feel like, I don't know. I have nothing. I have no thoughts today. I'm brain dead.
I had one of those thoughts today. Well, first of all, I ate lunch. I obviously dropped some on my dress. I was like, I am such a worthless piece of trash. I'm like,
You're hard on yourself.
no, but
You really are.
Because I sat down and I was like, time to eat my dumb little lunch on my dumb little desk. Like, here I go. And I was like already like making fun of the outfit I was wearing because I was like, this sucks. And then I just immediately got a jalapeno on it, and I was like, you need to like get it together.
I would say
stop dropping food on yourself.
No,
you
I would say the
slob.
opposite. No, be nice to yourself. You practice nice self-talk.
No.
Today I was, as I mentioned several times, playing golf, and I'm on the tee, and I'm like, I've been working on talking to myself kinder, not giving up, not just being mentally tough. Mm-hmm. Just be nice to yourself. You're not a great golfer, whatever. So then I get up there, hit a bad shot. I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. And they're like, good. How's it going for you? But we both do that. You don't need to beat yourself up. You're doing great.
I do. And then it's like, no, I just had one of those feelings of like, wow, now there's a spot on my dress. And I'm like, it's just embarrassing. And then I was like, nobody cares. And I was like, nobody cares about you at all. Nothing you do matters. And then I was like, and then you texted me. I was like, maybe we should get alcohol.
Alcohol rules. I had a little bit this morning.
You did?
Yeah.
No wonder you're all over the place.
On the second turn. Oh, don't blame it on that. Blame it on the alcohol. Please, like a couple morning beers. Ever heard anybody?
For LDW.
I had a feeling today when I was like, this is the real me. Shirt was untucked. Glove soaked by the rain. There's no glove. There's no hat. Different shoes.
Yeah.
I was like, this is me. I can't be the guy who tries to be.
You know who you kind of remind me of?
Get ready.
The caddie from Happy Gilmore.
Yep. Uh-huh.
You're just like washing your underwear in the ball thing. You're just like.
That's me every time. And I try so hard to not do it. I mean, we've cataloged my trouble at country clubs. Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm literally like, I will have a cheeseburger, and they're like, it's no beef Monday, get out. I'm like, what can I do here?
Well, please, that's a different set of like nonsense rules. But I don't know, like I did have one of those moments, like, when you like see someone like walking into like a restaurant or an office or whatever, and you're like, wow, like they look great, like they have it together.
Always.
and then I'll like catch a glimpse of myself in like the like CVS reflection. I'm like, like I'm like, and that's like a day that I like actually like, I'm like, I'm gonna get dressed today in my little outfit, my little hairdo, and some earrings, and then I'm like, oh my God, like what happened to you?
Well, when I interviewed at Goldman Sachs in 2011 or whatever, I was like, I'm going to just really do it big. I'm going to wear my nicest suit, my nicest shoes, whatever. So you're sitting there in the little waiting room. And I remember I look at the guy in front of me. I go, I mean, that's how you wear a suit. I'm not getting this job. Like, I was like, Joseph A. Bank, like the shoes, everything's wrong. But every time I do a game on TV, I have the same feeling. I go, this guy's camera ready. Don't even show me on TV. When they go, we're not doing it on camera open, I go, oh,
But can I tell you something? So like even like the evolution of like what is appropriate to wear in like a business casual type of setting has like dramatically changed. So it used to be like you could get away with wearing like a Banana Republic shirt and a pair of pants, or like just like a dress that had nothing special about it. It's just like a dress with a blazer, and you like you didn't look like a doofus. Like you didn't look like you were like applying to law school. You just like looked like a normal human.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't exist. You have to have a personal style, which I do not. And so then you show up and you go, who am I today? Like, am I Mormon? Am I a caddie? Whatever the hell that is. I'm like, you have to like have some sense of, like, we saw this with the guys from Summer House. It's like they had specific outfits on. Yeah. It wasn't just enough that they were wearing like a t-shirt and jeans, even a nice t-shirt and jeans. It's like you have to have like a POV. And I'm like, I don't. I just want to be comfortable, and I don't want to look, like the size of a Mack truck. And I also just like, I can't be wearing anything too precious, because I'm like, that's also silly. You know what I mean? Like, because I have little kids and they're going to like, smear peanut butter on me. But I'm like, it's like this weird thing where you're like, but how are you, like, there's a lot of like therapists and stuff that are like, oh, but how do you want to show up? And I'm like, I don't care. I just like don't. I'm like
You're like drunk.
I'm like you pick it out.
Yeah.
You do it.
Well, I've gone the other way where I've committed to not, and I'd like to pledge this to the audience and see if they'll join me
Okay.
in not caring about what I don't care about. Do you know what I mean?
But here's the thing. I do care about this
Right.
to a certain degree, but I'm like, I do not have the amount of time or money. So like if you have time, you can like plan out your outfits, you can like think through, you can like go shop, you can like try on different versions, you can be like, okay. And you can get it at like a bargain price because you have time to like pick it all out. If you have money, you can just like pay for that, right? But I'm like, here I am somewhere in the middle where I don't really have the money to throw at it and I don't really have the time to like sift through the bins. So then I'm just like, ugh, like whatever. And then you're like, that's how I'm showing up. Like that's the energy I'm bringing into the room. It's like, ugh.
Well, I think you look good, and I like
Well,
that
that's
energy.
nice.
Just remember, Troy Allen, great comedian, told me the other day when I bombed. He said, just bring the energy you have on stage with you. And I'm like,
Don't
so
try
what?
to change it.
Get up there and be like, I'm tired of shit. He goes, yeah, say that. That's better than whatever the hell you just did. And I'm like, thank you. I did. It was a bad bomb. I'm at the Laugh Tour this weekend, by the way. Oh, wait.
It won't come out in time.
Fudge. Can I pointlessly tell you about this Kevin Costner movie?
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
read?
Tell me
It'll
about
lead
the
us.
movie. Tell me about the movie.
Did you see this movie there? Horizon?
Which movie are we speaking
Horizon?
of? Is this like the brand new one?
Yeah, the
no,
Western.
I haven't. I do want to watch it though. I love Westerns.
All right, so I'm going to give my kind of review of this. I don't know what the point of you listening to this is. Well, okay, I know why, because it's going to lead into our next segment.
You know, he got another divorce. That's what I know about Kevin Costner.
Yeah, so at some point people were like, he's divorced, he's broke, he needs to like make money. He's just like doing shit to do it. That's what I heard.
I don't think he's broke, but okay.
I heard he was dead broke, living in the streets, working at Trader Joe's. A lot of people say he was working in Trader Joe's,
Here's
bagging groceries,
here's
paper,
a hot take.
plastic. What?
I don't think Kevin Costner has ever even been in a Trader Joe's.
No.
Ever. Ever.
He'd love it. He'd be like, "Can I shoot a Western here? Is this a trading post of some sort?" So
Some court?
So Kevin Costner won an Oscar for Dance with Wolves.
Okay.
Then he's had this huge career renaissance with Yellowstone.
Sure.
And in Yellowstone, he just talks kind of hoarse. He's like, "Kill him, bring up those horses." And his whole character is that he's like kind of like a Western mob boss.
Okay.
But the whole his part of the show's good. But the whole part of his show is he just like says stuff and they do it. And if they don't, you're gonna be in trouble. It's like, okay. So he's taken that voice over to Horizon, which is a 3-hour movie. I don't know what it's about. I watched the whole thing. There's a 45-minute just like massacre scene where all the Indians kill all the white people.
Ugh.
And there's some stuff in there that I'm very unhappy to watch. And then Sienna Miller looks incredible in the movie. She hides in a hole with her daughter. They find her 3 days later. They dig her out of the hole. And then this whole other storyline happens, and it's beautifully shot. And Kevin Costner's going, "I don't want to have to use my Colt 45, whatever." And then, inexplicably, the movie ends, and there's a 15-minute Western montage. And that's the part where I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I'm sort of like, he's shooting, he's kicking a guy in the chest, he's riding a rodeo, there's a saloon. I'm not exaggerating. Not 2 minutes. 15
Can
minutes.
I tell you something? You've been describing this movie now for like 2
an hour.
minutes.
I'm sorry.
And all I hear in my head is ding, ding, ding. Woo, woo.
Yeah, it is that movie. It is that movie.
That was pretty good.
Thank you. I used to leave that as a voicemail on my friend Jane's answering machine. But yeah, it sounds boring. It sounds boring and needlessly violent, which like I don't really watch movies that are like gory or violent. And I don't really like Kevin Costner. I mean, I think he's fine. I think he's fine.
Whoa.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, play the music again. Look right in the camera. Play the music. Look in the camera.
Yeah, I don't really care for Kevin Costner. Hot take.
I'd watch Kevin Costner eat soup. Okay, I don't care.
Would you?
I love him. I actually also, this is psychotic. I knew the point of this story. After watching Horizon and having nobody to talk to about it, because who the fuck watches the same stuff as anybody anymore? I texted
You and I
Coons.
don't. We like are in the same room.
No,
I'm
because
like
you don't want to watch the same shit as me, other than a lot of the stuff we watch together. Bravo, blah blah blah. But
the challenge. MTV's the challenge.
So I text Koontz to be like, "Did you watch this?" And he's like, "No, I've heard of it." I'm like, "That's better than most." So then I go on Rotten Tomatoes and I wrote a review.
No, you didn't.
I wrote a 9-paragraph review.
You did not. I'm looking it
I
up.
swear to God, look at my review. Are you able to find it?
Maybe.
Go. It's one of the most recent ones. I wrote it last night.
Rotten Tomatoes and on what's the name of the movie?
Horizon.
Wait, I cannot believe you wrote a review.
It's the second time I've done it.
What? What? What's the first one? Steve Pond?
The first one was maybe Interstellar or something that really made a
Yo, they didn't post your review.
Yeah, they did.
I got news for you.
They did. Let me log in. Yeah. Are you gonna find it?
I'm
Should
looking
we
for
pause?
it. No, I'm looking for it. It says
We can keep this on the roll and cut it.
So that's critics reviews.
I did audience reviews.
Same.
You're not on here.
Well, I'm gonna sign in. Continue with Google.
Jack, Harold, Michael,
This is
Raymond?
anybody who's not watching.
Paul, Rhonda.
Hold on. We might have to-
Rhonda had a hot take. This movie was so boring. Kevin Costner should stick with Yellowstone. Isn't Yellowstone the same thing?
Oh, I wrote a review of The Patient as well.
Wait, but you did not write a review of this movie. It's not here.
Yes, I did. Fuck, I wish we could find it. It'd be so funny.
I'm trying to find it. Some of these people took this review very, very, very seriously.
I took it really seriously, and I wish we could find it. Hold on.
Melanie W. says, to call this bad is being generous.
Did you review under a pseudonym?
No, Noah S.
Are you verified?
There's a Michael A. that left a review.
But I don't get it. I logged in last night, and I wrote a review, and now I can't find it. This may
Are
be
you
the-
sure you did
This
it?
may be the worst 3 minutes of podcasting history.
Are you sure you did it?
Yeah.
Well, you came in like, oh yeah, like as if I've ever heard of you reviewing something on Rotten Tomatoes before. You acted like this is something that you do all the time.
I've done it twice, and I don't...
Well, you're not on here.
Yeah, where the hell is it?
Did you leave a review on chapter 1 or chapter 2?
Chapter 1.
Okay, Noah, this did not happen. I'm tired of this.
We have to find it. The audience is going to be...
Are you RDM?
No.
Critics are idiots. This is like a lonesome dove and loved it. Like, relax. You know who wrote that?
Ew.
Kevin Costner.
Really?
I like when people write things like, I've always liked Kevin Costner, but this one was not for me. It's like, he's not reading this. He's not gonna.
Oh, I threw in... I wish we could find it, because I threw in a real nasty review of one of the stars.
Noah.
Well, I'm going to have to edit out a lot of this boringness, probably.
Well, I'm just telling you, I'm pretty deep now into the reviews. And
Reviews.
you did not do it.
I promise you I did.
Okay, this is a classic review. I wish this was yours. Want to hear it?
Yeah.
OMG, it's so long, and the story just drags with a million A's. Costner is also trying to play a man 30 years younger. At some point, I just wanted them to shoot me. That's funny.
Wait, what was the date yesterday?
The
What's the date today?
30th?
Okay. They didn't post my shit?
Nope.
It's so good.
I guess you got flagged.
For what? Hate speech?
I don't know what you put in the stupid review, but it's not here.
You know what? I put Indians and Native Americans, depending on how I was referring to them. Maybe
Well,
that's why I got
other
flagged.
No, I see other reviews that say Indians.
Well, we're just going to have to cut this whole segment. I don't know what we're going to
Why?
do.
I like it.
Because people are going to go, find the review. It's going to be so funny. It would be so funny. Because I wrote like 7 paragraphs. That's how into this movie I was. And I just had nobody to even
Well, I've been watching Emily in Paris. Have you ever watched that?
No, but I just saw DeStefano do a bit on it, and he said it's great.
Okay, well, I just sent my sister some funny talk about hot takes from Emily in Paris.
Yeah.
And like every single like Instagram or like tweet review was like so spot on because it was like this movie, this show is so bad. These people are so bad. Like Emily belongs in jail, but please make 16 more seasons. I can't get enough. It's like, I mean, the outfits are incredible. Like it is worth watching just for the costume design, but like the plot lines, especially this season, are so completely batty. Like it's like I'm watching it and I like truly can't turn it off, but I'm like, this is the dumbest. Like I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, and there's things that happen and I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense in this context.
Yeah.
But it does make me want to go to Paris. I do think that would be fun.
You?
You've never been.
Should we talk? No, forget Paris. Good movie. Billy Crystal. Should we watch, should we talk challenge real quick?
Yeah, let's talk the challenge and then...
let's get out of here and put this pot out of its misery.
Oh, do you want to do a quick, how old are they?
Oh, yeah.
Who's yours?
Well, I have to do a lead-in.
Mine was going to be Lily Collins, the star of Emily in Paris, who is also Phil Collins' daughter, who you referenced earlier in the pod.
Because she went to high school with my ex-GF from college.
So how old is she?
How old is Phil Collins' daughter?
Yes.
Who cares?
That's the game.
Oh, she's probably 32.
35. Also, it's like, are you in a nursing home? Well, how many beers did you have on the course this morning?
Not that many, and they weren't beers. They were that delicious twisted tea I told you about,
Yuck.
the Arnold Palmer spiked. Delicious.
Yuck.
All right, so I want to lead into mine by telling you it's another bad movie I've been watching. So here's the premise of the movie.
Okay, but what are we doing? Another celebrity or no?
Yeah, I'm going to lead into the celebrity I'm doing.
Got it.
Okay. Anthony Hopkins, that's a celebrity, and Alec Baldwin are up in Alaska for a photo shoot, and then they get stranded in the woods with a bear. That's the movie I'm currently watching. So it was made in like 1997. How old is Anthony Hopkins?
Anthony Hopkins is 80. I think he's 85.
86. Really good.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you.
And have you heard the Trump thing about Hannibal Lecter?
No.
He's been referencing Hannibal Lecter a lot at rallies. He's been like, and Hannibal, he's a very, very good guy. He's always been on our side, Hannibal Lecter. And then people are like,
Lecter?
Yeah, people think that he thinks that Anthony Hopkins supports him, but he confused Hannibal Lecter and Anthony Hopkins.
But Anthony Hopkins is not an American.
There's a lot of problems with it. First of all,
well, Hannibal Lecter is fictional, but also I think he was based on a real person, though, right?
Don't know, but I do love Silence of the Lambs. I used to do the whole scene.
I think the character was based
Clarice.
on a real person, but it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not like a 1-to-1.
No, and also
Anthony Hopkins is British.
And then Anthony Hopkins heard about this and was like, I don't
Leave
like
me
Trump.
out of this. Yeah. Also, he's like he had a resurgence on Instagram or TikTok or something.
Why?
Because during COVID, like he wasn't. Well, first of all, he had some sort of health scare. And people always think that he's like this scary guy because he does these like scary movies, right? Mm-hmm. But actually, he's like a goofus. And so then when he was like in lockdown or whatever, he was like doing like funny videos with.
Like, he's acting mean. What?
He was like playing the piano and stuff.
Crazy.
And people were like, oh my God, he's just like us.
Like, I thought you cut off your face and wear it as a disguise.
He's like, only sometimes.
The movie's fantastic. I almost want to make you watch that. We might change this whole show to to be called Watch With Me. So I'll watch Emily in Paris with you. You watch Anthony Hopkins in the
woods. I don't want to watch
woods.
Emily in Paris with you. I just want to be left alone.
The new pod is canceled. Let's talk challenge, and then let's get the F out of Dodge.
What is that accent?
I don't know. I'm trying.
You are drunk.
I'm not. I'm not drunk, and I'm not. But let's talk challenge. Okay. So this season they brought back everybody. It's eras. There's like 100 people on the cast.
Also, can I tell you something? I mean, I know Taylor Swift like did this for her tour, but I'm tired of like the eras. What era you're in.
Yeah.
And then every single person heard Taylor Swift be like, I'm in my like breakup era or whatever. And everyone's like, I have an era too. And you're like, even like MTV, the challenge, like it's the eras challenge. I'm like, enough with the eras.
Yeah. Someone came off the top rope. It's like, I'm in my hemorrhoids era. They're like, not now, Phil.
Well, this season is what, the 40th season
Yeah.
of the challenge? That's too many.
I don't think so. What's great is that the people coming back now who are old, exactly our age. And
No, what's his name? Mark is 52.
yeah, that's too old.
That's old.
Yeah.
He looks great. He wears his hat weird, but he looks great.
Very weird. I remember watching the challenge at first and being like, this is like a fun little spin-off show. But now we know it's the show. That's the main show.
Well, it is funny, like, watching the show because they have people on who, like, what's her name, hasn't done a season for 18 years. Like, she fully moved on from this era and had kids and, like, has a life and, like, whatever. And then, obviously, MTV reached out to her and were like, do you want to do this? Like, we're doing this big kind of, like, reunion show. But when I see her and, like, other people on the cast, I'm like, there is that weird, it's almost like running into one of these people like at a bar or something. You're like, do I know you? And they're like, oh, actually I was on MTV. And you're like, right. Like, it's that weird type of like, I mean, besides people who came back all the time, like CT and Bananas and whatever, but it's like, there's a lot of people where you're like, wait, which one are you? And like, they look slightly different, but also kind of the same.
Well, there's a lot of people that I remember when I was 15, 16, 17 being like, she's so hot. And now I see her and I'm like, what was I thinking, you crazy person?
Wow.
Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Should I still think they're hot? The random?
Some of them are still hot.
A lot of them are hot, but a lot of them I'm like, what was I thinking? That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the men are not attractive because they're just
they're
like,
losers because they're on the challenge.
yeah, well, they're like, and they're still like, if you're good at the challenge and you've been doing it for 20 years, you're like, and if you're bad at the challenge but you've like just come back out of retirement, I'm like also a little bit like
Well, the people that are stars of the challenge or good on the challenge are like kind of good at being in like college,
right,
or high school. They're like,
it's a real like,
cool
it's a
outfit
real
on.
like Van Wilder situation where you're like, why are you still here? Like,
my favorite
that kind
guy
of vibe.
is Corey, who's very dumb and
He's so dumb.
he's always like thinking he's being like real slick and charismatic.
When you watch what's his name, TJ, explain what the physical challenge is going to be, and then they cut to Corey's face and he's like,
Yeah.
and then you can see, like, it's almost like he needs a translator, like someone has to like tell him what to do, and then
So
they
it's
was like
things got a little bit more heated up in the oil tanker, and you're like, that's not a saying.
you had a funny hot take though about Horacio, because all he does in his confessionals is just like state the facts.
Exactly, with no nervous. He's like, well, I was upset because I was up here and my girlfriend was down there in the ball pit, and for ball pit game, you have to put the ball pit into the hoop to score points. And they're like, okay.
And they're like, that was something.
And they're like, well, how are you feeling about that? Well, I'm feeling like I'm up here and she's down there. That's how I
Do
feel.
you think they drink a lot of alcohol on set?
Yeah. You mean like the producers?
Everyone. No, not the producers. They're like working.
In Vegas, okay, Vegas was the year that they decided get the hottest people possible and jam them with alcohol, and that's when the hot tub threesome happened and all sorts of crazy stuff. Faux show.
That
I think
was
they're
Trishelle,
drinking.
right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Trishelle and Kyle Brandt, now ESPN employee,
Oh, I didn't know that.
but Princeton guy. Then what happened was people like Cara Maria, Mexican eatery. She decided like, wait,
Not a Mexican.
this is a professional sport, so I'm gonna not drink. So there's the camp that like just trains for the challenge, which is really like, what a life.
Yeah, but also like you could like drink and party and then go work out if you're like 24. But if you're like 44, like you cannot, CT cannot be hungover and then also be like, oh, I gotta run up this mountain. Like he's like,
He's gotten more from Boston, and the older you get, he gets more and more from Boston.
someone told him that he needed to like heavily invest in like a bomber jacket and black t-shirts, that it was going to be like his like slimming look on camera.
Yeah.
And he just walks in, he's like twice the size of every other person on the show, which like whatever, we love a relatable king, but he just like comes in, he's like,
He looks, and
he's like a bear.
I know what I currently look like, and I look at him and I go, I hope I look a little better than him, but maybe I don't. But he looks extra bloaty and drinky. Like he looks like
he looks a little drinky this time.
He looks like he's taking a little dad vacation on the challenge, and he's just like, okay, I'm here to hang out, and you know.
I actually feel like when he's alone in the confessional, I'm like, he actually looks cute, and he is cute, so he like still looks fine. But like then you see him next to like one of the other guys, and you're like, oh, okay, or like they catch him at a bad angle or something. It's like, no.
Yeah, but the other dudes are like.
Pretty jacked.
Training and jacked and roiding
well,
up.
One of the women on the most recent episode that we watched referenced how she, like, obviously she found out she was going to be on the show and she started training because in her normal life, I don't know if she has a job or whatever, but she has 2 young kids. Like, she's in her 40s. She's not just, like, randomly training for, like, endurance sports. So, like, she mentioned that and I was like, well, that does make total sense because if you know you're coming on the challenge, like, I would, like, join, you know, like CrossFit or something.
Cara just has a CrossFit or like some sort of facility where all she does is just like solve puzzles and like do backflips and do pull-ups on ropes and shit. Like that's all she does all the time.
But she kind of like found that passion via the challenge.
Yes. She doesn't. I'm not sure it's even CrossFit. I'm saying that
it's some kind of
all
gym.
she does is train.
Yeah.
Also, what about her boy? What's her boyfriend's name?
Paulie.
And Paulie came in. He's got a slash in his shirt. He's got tattoos, pink hair, earrings. I'm like, just take the next step, buddy. We know where this is going.
I feel like he actually looks cool, and like so many of the men on that show are so like. It is a rare show for me where I'm like, the women are like so much more confident than the men. Like they really like
interesting
come in with this attitude, and like it really depends on what the actual challenge is going to be, who's going to win. Like getting to the end is hard. You have to have a good social game. Like people who you like look at them and you're like, oh, they're going to get annihilated. Like somehow hang on just because of their alliances and like whatever. And like a lot of the guys come across as like very insecure. And I think a lot of the women come across as very much like, I don't give an F. Like I'm here. I'm going to like, even when they lose, they're like, okay, so I lost, and like they like move it on, and like the men are over here being like, shouldn't have lost that one. Like they're like so like, you know, I'm like, stop being such a loser.
Yeah.
Like you lost the game. Like whatever.
Well, I don't know if I've said this on the pod before, but the challenge is exactly analogous to corporate life in America.
Okay, interesting.
If you're the bottom, no good. If you're too much of a performer, you're also going to go home. The way to get ahead. Just be right in the middle. Don't ruffle any feathers. And then right at the end, step on the gas.
I believe what you're describing is Dilbert.
All right. How long are we done? Can we get out of here? What the hell? What is this?
At 52 minutes.
Oh, perfect timing.
Wow.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I
want to apologize, maybe?
For what?
I don't know. Your sins?
No.
Confess.
Can I tell you something? I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
People like go to religious schools because their parents chose that for them. And then they get like indoctrinated into something, and either they like rebel against that, or they're like, even their subconscious like hold on to it. And then they just like feel bad forever. And you're like, but you didn't even pick that in the first place. It just got picked for you.
That's right.
So even if you leave whatever religion it was, it doesn't matter because like you'll never get away from it.
No, but even without religion, you can feel the
Bad.
inherent guilt, which is how you know your
human.
Your original sin is true.
That's how you know it?
That's how I know about you.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I feel like, I don't know, it's like now we're going into this long weekend and people are all like, oh, like after that, like school starts and then it's going to be the holidays and then...
Yeah, how are you feeling about the end of summer? I forgot to ask you that.
Can I tell you something? With this summer, this is like what? The hottest summer on record. It is.
Okay.
I personally have felt quite hot. I feel like, and as we've already discussed in our, disintegrating apartment, you have 2 options. It's either being boiled alive or the loudest air conditioner in the history of man. So I'm like, am I personally ready for like today? It's like 65. I'm like, I feel like a little bit of like a respite is needed. Like we need like a change. But like, do I feel like I got the most out of my summer? No.
Yeah,
it was a busy summer.
Every summer, at the end of the summer, I look back and I go, I should have had more fun. What did I do the entire time?
We had a lot of fun.
I know, but no matter what, I look back and go, where was the slip and slide? Where was the carnival, the funnel cake? the
What?
bags, the games of, cornhole and everything like that. And then I also feel somewhat relieved that we're going into the time period where everybody just calms down. There's no parties. There's no nothing.
This time of August, I always just want to go to Staples and get like
The back to school stuff. Yeah.
so many highlighters that I'll never use,
Yeah,
and the good pens, and like remember you get a list for back to school shopping, and it would be like you need 1 marble notebook, 3-ring binder, and you're like, what?
You need so many highlighters, colored pencils, and then 3 weeks in, you just had a pile of shit and 1 number tool pencil, and you had no textbooks.
No,
and
that's what
straight
you
Cs.
had. That's what you had.
You didn't know where your locker was. You were just walking around like,
But these
do I go to
days-
school here?
These days, like the class list is just like an iPad.
Oh my God. School is hell now. But I actually want to give you one more hot take. Do you have something, Dylan?
Is that a real thing? Like they
For some kids.
Yeah,
they
it's
make
sometimes.
you bring an iPad to
Yeah.
school?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm becoming radicalized in education. I literally, mark my words, I'm like, you got it? Cue it up.
Another hot.
Oh, I thought he was playing it. Play it. I got another one for you. Now we've done the bit too many times.
Yeah.
Like,
Remember when you lied about writing a review for that movie?
I didn't, and I'll bring it in next time. I'm going to print it out from
Print it.
Staples.
Put it in a binder.
I promise you next episode I'm going to bring that review. And if not, I'm going to rewrite it from memory.
I don't care.
Hearing some of the dumb shit that they do at schools now, like in our first half day of school for our son, I'm like 1 year away from homeschool, homesteading, raising bees. I'm not playing that stuff.
So do it, Noah.
I might. That's what I'm saying.
You won't.
You grow up
We
and
live
you
in the
go,
middle of Manhattan. You're
don't
talking about
care.
homesteading.
I'm going
First of all,
west, horizon,
you
baby.
You can't homeschool our son because you can barely read.
He brings it home. I go, don't do that. Don't listen to them.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like you're being radicalized. I'm like, what do you like?
My homeschool is don't listen to Rogan.
You're out drinking all morning. Like you can't be
I
trusted.
want to be like, forget that noise. Don't listen to that teacher. Let's go play golf.
You thought Hannibal Lecter was a real person?
But yeah, I'm very. I got my eye on school. I'm looking at them.
Your eye on school?
Yep,
I'm
all
actually
school.
concerned that like kids 10 years from now are just like not going to learn how to write.
No, I can barely write with a pencil anymore.
Well,
my
this is
hand,
what I'm
like,
saying.
I don't have the dexterity to like hold it anymore.
Watching you pretend to write something.
I'm like, what do I do? Use my whole body? What is that?
My mom used to be like, "Oh, we were so concerned about you because you like couldn't hold a pen properly," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, I'm glad that was your number one concern about me." I was like, "That was you put way too much time investment into that instead of like what was actually wrong with me."
Yeah. Well, my parents were like, he can't read yet. He's behind. I'm like, I'm 2.
Right.
My sister was over there reading Moby Dick out loud.
Your sister's like, "I wrote another book in Braille." She's like, "Anyway, I'm in the 4th grade."
Yeah. She's like, bye. Anyway,
man,
drop
she
out of
is
school.
smart.
Everybody drop out of school. Have a great holiday. Thank
Enjoy
you.
your LDW.
Wow. What a